This is weird. I was just thinking, it's like this is like old days. We just need to have like smaller space, don't you think?
I'm like, dude, he's so not being a friend.
It's meant to be at a workout. So.
Lauren had a seat up.
Makes him look taller.
He's really tall.
It makes him feel taller. You'll notice that typically. Sure they are, the higher they sit. They like to dangle. You should ask him next time. Like, do your feet dangle? I'll have to ask him. Next time I see him, I think I will, if I remember.
Are we ready? Okay.
Why?
All right, everybody, we'd like to welcome you out to the Harriman City Planning Commission's regular Planning Commission meeting this Thursday, April 7th. By way of note, Chairman Chris Berber has asked me to chair tonight's meeting since I was joking he was yelling with his kids, but he's been yelling at his wife, so he's lost his voice. So anyhow, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, that's on the notes. That's right. That's in the minutes. So we got that. All right. Anyhow, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance by Gary Young. He's going to help us out with that. If you could just come on up and.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. We do have a full quorum today. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. And we also have a couple of alternates for us as well. We'll head item 2.3. Are there any conflicts of interest on any of the items today from any of the voting commissioners tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to item 2.4 and looking for an approval of the minutes from our January 20th Planning Commission meeting.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Chris.
Second.
And a second by Adam. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on to item 3.1. So we have a number of public hearing items. Sorry, Talia. We'll get you in a minute. We do have a couple of items that are on for public hearing tonight. So before getting into these items, let me go ahead and just explain to you the format for our public hearing and public comment and policy and procedure. The purpose of public comments is to allow citizens to address items on the agenda. Citizens requesting to address the commission will be asked to complete a written comment form, which are found in the back of the room there, and present that to Wendy Thorpe, our deputy recorder. In general, I'll allow an individual 3 minutes to address the commission. A spokesperson recognized as representing a group in attendance may be allowed up to 5 minutes. And public hearing comments may also be submitted via email or by visiting the Harriman City website as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and move to item 3.1. Thank you. Discussion about recommendation of approval for a lot line adjustment at 12051 South Harriman Main Street and 5262 West Denali Park Drive.
Yeah, all right. So this is just a pretty simple lot line adjustment request.
Maybe.
There you go. All right. Located in the Anthem commercial area. It's zoned C2, and these are the two lots that we're looking at, highlighted in yellow. An incoming business to the more northern lot would like some more parking, so they just want to adjust that line a little bit to accommodate that. Currently, there are no buildings there, so there aren't really setback issues. It meets all the other requirements found in our code for the C2 zone. Here's a current plat, and we'll just look. And as I mentioned, they just want to move that lot line to the south a little bit. And they've provided the easements and other requirements necessary for that. This is kind of flipped. The two lots that we're looking at are these bottom two lots that are cut off, but this is just to show you the road that will eventually, the access that these two lots would have in the future. So the staff recommendation is to approve the lot line adjustment as proposed. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. Are there any questions for Talia? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Is the applicant here? Would like to come up? Feel free to add any additional information that you feel would be pertinent for us to hear at this time. And state your name, please. Sorry.
Mike Maddox, and so the customer we have coming in is Panda Express, and we just need to move the line. Now, when you were looking at some other stuff on there, which wasn't part of the lot line adjustment, we are putting a drive aisle in that'll also service from Ziggy's through that, and that was the other display that she showed.
Perfect. Great.
Any questions?
Any questions for the applicant? No? Thank you. We'll go ahead and
Well, thank you.
take a seat. So this is on the agenda for a public hearing, so we will, at this time, go ahead and open up the public hearing for anybody that would like to make a comment on this particular item. Did we receive any online comments at all for this one? Okay. Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any discussion from commission, or I'll entertain a motion if there's no questions.
Pretty simple, so I'd like to make I would like to approve item 3.1 with staff's recommendations.
Is this a recommendation of approval then, right?
This is not. This is administrative.
It's just,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It said recommendation, but this is for actual approval.
I'd like
Okay.
to approve item 3.1.
Okay, we have
I'll second.
a motion by Adam and a second by Heather. We'll do roll call for this. Andrea?
Yes.
Forrest? Sorry, Jackson. I wrote down the wrong name. Sorry. Jackson, thank you. Heather?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes,
And Brody?
Yes.
All right, Chris, you want to take back over here?
you're doing
Okay,
great.
that motion does pass unanimously.
It's more
Thank you.
entertaining.
I guess. Thank you. Sorry for that, Jackson. All right, we'll move on to item 3.2. Not sure who's going to be helping us with this one. All right.
All right, so this next item on the agenda is for subdivision plat amendment. The property here is located in the Rosecrest area. The lot itself is 2.66 acres. It's currently zoned C2. This is actually, you can maybe familiar with this area. This is where the summer sports complex is being built currently. What the applicant's asking to do is subdivide Lot 2 of the Rosecrest commercial subdivision. So he wants to split it right down the middle, so you have about equal parts. I guess, looking at the site and how he wants to subdivide it, there is that existing building on the site that's currently being developed. And this subdivision of this lot, here this shows the lot line where it's going to be split. The existing building still meets all the setback requirements of the CTU zone, so we're not going to be causing any nonconformities with this subdivision, this subdivide. Both lots still have access off of Mirabella. There is a shared access here, and part of one of the conditions we are, well, there's a shared access for the lot for both lots 1 and 2. And part of one of the conditions that we're looking at with the applicant was based off the condition of approval for the summer sports complex. Whereas if he had tournaments, he had to be able to provide parking for those tournaments. Being the case that he's now selling this portion of the property off, we just require that he creates a shared parking agreement with the future owners of this property, just to ensure if he does have tournaments, he can at least still park those customers. Looking at zoning compliance, again, there's no lot widths or minimums in the C2 zone. There's frontage on both lots will remain. The setbacks for the existing structures are still met. There is a Rosecrest PUD. They just refer to the city standards for design. Engineering had no concerns with the subdivide. So staff does recommend approval of this item with the following requirements. If you have any questions for me, go ahead, and Gerald, the applicant, is here.
Any questions?
That parking wouldn't affect what could go on the new lot, right?
I'm sorry?
That agreement couldn't affect what would go on the new lot, right?
I still can't hear
Parking-wise?
you. Sorry, Andrea.
Oh, so that shared parking agreement, that wouldn't affect what could go on the new lot, right?
Yeah, so for both lots.
But it wouldn't affect them. Like if there wasn't enough parking, if they were having a tournament, that wouldn't affect it, right?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Andrea. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So whatever goes onto the new lot, that shared parking agreement, that's not going to affect what could be built there, right?
No.
The parking?
No.
Okay, thanks.
It's a necessity to just ensure that if there is some overflow, and the anticipation of this overflow will usually be in the evenings on weekends. So whatever parking's allotted, required for that future development should be able to accommodate that during after hours.
And Lot 1 already accommodates all the parking that it
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
right now. So it doesn't need to rely on Lot 2 either then?
Yeah.
So it can, okay.
Yeah, as it sits now, yeah, it technically meets that parking requirement. It actually exceeds the parking requirement for that actual building.
Okay.
But we were just concerned with tournaments. that
Absolutely.
There may be, an influx of parking.
Any other questions? All right. Is the applicant here? Would like to, feel free to come on up and add any additional information that you think is pertinent for us to know about what's happening. Go ahead and state your name, and if there's any more information that maybe the city staff didn't present to us that you would like us to know about this recommendation.
Okay, my name is Gerald Summer. I own the property. I have no other information.
Okay.
He did a good job.
Perfect. All right, we'll let you have a seat then. Thank you. Excuse me. This is also open for a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and, if there's any comments, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time for this particular item. Again, I'll ask if there was anything submitted online. Wendy? Nope. You want to raise your hand? Please come forward, state your name, and go ahead.
Gary Young, 14097 Rosaline Lane. So my lot, my house faces back onto this, what we assumed was a practice facility only. That's what we were told. That's what the original thing was supposed to be, that it was 2 basketball courts for practice only. They don't have bleachers. They don't have any facilities to accommodate tournaments. This is new information to us. I'm surprised that we weren't notified to this. I know this doesn't affect their lot line adjustment. I have no problems with the lot line adjustment. I understand how that type of stuff works. My only concern is their function is not as they stated and as they got original approval for. According to the plat, it says it's Summers Practice Facility or Summers Practice Courts. That's all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. Is there any items for discussion from Planning Commission on this item?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to hear from the owner again. I think he wanted to make a comment, but
Comment about the
usage?
usage of that? Yeah, because that.
I agree with.
Well, and that usage, unfortunately, and I guess the usage is not up for discussion, I guess, at this time. It is the lot line adjustment.
Yeah, that'd be
so-
tied to the conditional use, and staff could look into that, right?
Right, so that would be, yeah. So if there's a concern, I guess, with that, thank you, yeah. Because there was a use that was approved for that, so if they're doing something that is not in compliant with that, then there could, yeah, staff can help you look into that as well.
So I remember this project, and I remember that the lot line's always been talked about a bit switching, so I don't have any issues related to the lot line, but the staff
Yeah.
thing can obviously be taken care of. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve item 3.2 with
All right.
staff's recommendations.
Thank you. We have a motion by Adam,
I'll second.
second by Heather. Make sure I get the names right. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. Heather, call for a vote. Heather?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Brody?
Yeah.
Chris?
Yes.
And Adam?
Yes.
All right, that motion approves unanimously. We'll move on to item 3.3, which is a request for approval of a home occupation daycare known as, I'm not going to even say it, Frolu's Fun Care, LCC.
So this is a request for a home daycare located in, again, in the Rosecrest area. It's actually around the corner from that subdivision plat amendment we just did. The home here is, it's zoned R115. It's a, I think a 6,000 square foot lot. Here, just showing a site plan. Again, what our requirements are, they provide, off-street parking.
We all good?
Still more talking. Okay.
Yeah. Time's up, Sheldon.
Oh,
That'd be kind of fun. Let's just this time of the staff. That's a good idea.
All right, so here, this is just a site plan, an aerial just showing that they do meet that requirement to provide that additional off-street parking. The home itself has a fully fenced rear yard. As I mentioned earlier, this is in the Rosecrest subdivision. It's R115, it's 0.14 acres. Part of this process when we do home daycares is we'll send notices to the neighbors within a 300-foot radius of the applicant. If we don't receive any, well, per policy, if we don't receive any comments from any of the neighboring properties, then we'll go ahead and approve that through staff. In this case, we did get a response back from those comments. Therefore, we're here before you today. Some of these standards here for home occupation, they have to provide off-street parking, they can have no employees. They have to, mitigate any traffic congestion that's caused or created through these home occupations, well, through, I guess, daycares or group instructions, et cetera. Mitigating noise, dust, et cetera, as all those standard requirements that are required for a home occupation. In addition to that, there's daycare. Their requirements are that the homeowner has to live on premise. They can have no more than 8 children, and if they have outdoor activities, the rear yard has to be fenced, and all that outdoor activities have to be performed in the rear yard of the home, of the yard. Being that the daycare is a conditional use, and we did receive some, well, to address any of these secondary impacts, let's just go there. Staff did review the conditional use standards, and just to address some concerns that were brought up and were discussed with the applicant, we have imposed some conditions, a part of this approval, and one of those is just to mitigate traffic congestion is that the drop-off and pickup times are scheduled and coordinated with the patrons. This way, we're reducing, an influx of cars coming in at the same time, and it's better for them to manage. They can get the kids in and out of the driveway and et cetera. Another concern is mitigating any noise, dust, et cetera. Typically, we don't see dust and et cetera generated from these types of uses, but noise may be a concern. Speaking with the applicant, they do intend to have some outdoor activities. She says she has those scheduled for twice a day for about 15, 20 minutes, per day. She says the instruction they give during outdoor, it's more of instruction. It's not really like a recess. They'll be under direction, she said. So, and one of those conditions, to mitigate any of the noise created from this use, we're just asking that they limit the outdoor activities to minimize noises generated from their activities. With that moving forward, staff does approve recommendation with does recommend approval with the following recommendations.
okay. Any questions? I have one, I guess. It said on one of your slides there was a notice of public hearing that was on 3/20. That wasn't for today's, because our agenda does not show a public hearing. Is this on for public hearing? Okay.
No,
So that was already done elsewhere outside of this?
Public notice.
Okay.
Where we notice the neighbors. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just confused, because this is not up for public hearing tonight. So, okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
And the applicant is here if you have any
Great,
questions.
yeah. Let's have the applicant come forward and state your name, and if there's any additional information you'd like to share with us at this time.
Hello, my name is Juliana Mata. I am the owner of the daycare. Nice to meet you.
I'm here to translate her.
Okay,
If she has any questions.
if there's any questions. Okay, is there any more information, or did he do a good enough job of explaining to us?
Más información de lo que él ya presentó a ellos.
Pues todo lo enviado por correo ya está especificado el horario y todo lo de los niños por recogida y todo.
She's saying that, he really explained everything that they work together, So it already tells how to prevent these concerns, the neighbor concerns. I already lay out on this
Okay.
paper, yeah.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll have a discussion then. Thank you. I guess I could have asked if there was any questions for the applicant before I had her sit down. But Any thoughts?
I don't have any.
I had a question for staff real quick. So since this goes through the state too, the licensing goes through the state, is there a fire inspection?
There is, and then it's typically a self-fire inspection is how they do that, so they do it
okay.
themselves. But there is inspections by the county health department.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Only question I have is if they have or have plans of having employees.
Yep, please, sorry. Thank you.
No.
Okay,
No, she won't have any employees.
Okay,
all right,
Just herself.
thank you.
just yourself.
Thank you.
Great. All right. If there's no more questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So for me, I think that all the items are being met. They provided us with drop-off and pickup times, and they also talked about kind of limiting that noise level. Looking at these recommendations that staff is giving, I do have a concern with number 2. I feel like we're trying to silence children, and I have a hard time with that. Just what's your guys' opinion on number 2?
I'm trying to find number 2.
It's on the screen.
I agree with you. You wouldn't silence someone if they had their own kids there.
Right.
So I don't.
As long as they abide by the noise standards we have in the city, I don't.
Within 7 to 7, I think you're fine. So
Okay.
I don't think we need to, personally.
All right. Well, is there any more discussion? And I'm ready to make a motion.
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item 3.3 with staff's recommendations, excluding number 2.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Heather and a second by Adam. We'll go ahead and call for a vote. Brody?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
And Andrea?
Yes.
Okay, that one approves unanimously. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Will you just make sure she understands that the number 2 we excluded?
Yeah.
No. We just, we took that one off because it was requiring a noise. It was worried about the noise, and we said, we're not worried about the noise with the kids.
Yeah. It's no longer a requirement.
No longer a requirement. Let
They-
the kid-
they can still go out and
Let
play.
the kids be kids. Let the kids be kids. That's right. All right.
Just to be clear, of course, there is a noise
Right.
level that the
Yep.
city may enforce, but
Right.
just normal.
Normal noise
Correct.
requirement. Yep, nothing.
You don't enforce it at the public schools, so we're good.
All right, we'll go ahead. That's it for our administrative items tonight. We'll move on to to our legislative items, and item 4.1, which is recommendation to amend Title 10 of the City Code. And Michael has that one for us.
And this one, I do not have a presentation on.
Okay.
It is not, the legislative amendment that is proposed tonight does not change any of the regulatory requirements for residential or agricultural zones. We're looking at ways to make our zoning more user-friendly. This was a concern that was expressed by some members of the City Council, and they had asked staff to come up with a new way of identifying and naming our zones so that they were more consistent between the residential and the agricultural zones, and hopefully, again, more user-friendly. Out of this conversation with our management team and also with some members of the city council, we're looking for other ways to improve communicating the city standards and regulations to the public. We're currently, under Blake Thomas's direction, we're looking at updating our zoning map and offering even additional tools and information available online to our residents. It's interesting, through the course of our history of development, Commissioner Adam Jacobson was just sharing in our work meeting the history of our growth pattern as a city. We have largely been working with the development community. But now that we're 20 plus years old, more and more of our work are with residents who are looking to do an addition or remodel or build something new. So we're working more with the general public, and we need to make sure that our tools are effective and available and easy to understand. So we're going to be working on that over time, of course, but that's our goal. And this is basically that first step, is trying to create a more user-friendly naming system for our zones.
All right. Any discussion, Michael?
It is a public hearing, as you know.
Yep, I was just noticing that as well. So, okay, thank you. As mentioned, this is up for a public hearing, so I will go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time for anyone that'd like to make any comments on this recommendation. Wendy, anything online? No? Okay. Very good. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing then. Thank you. Any discussion? Or a motion?
I just have a question.
Question?
Am I wrong? Isn't this 4.2? Did we?
No, this is 4.1.
This is 4.1.
4.1.
Okay, on the agenda, 4.1 says recommend to amend Title 10 of the City Code to rename residential and agricultural zones?
Correct.
And we're talking about flag lot.
No.
Must have got off.
No.
You got off. Yep. Nope, we're on 4.1.
Then I'm good.
Your mind works faster than ours.
He's already moved on, I guess.
Yes. I'll make a recommendation of approval of item 4.1 to the City Council.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Oh. All right. We have a motion by Adam and a second by Andrea. We'll go ahead and call for a vote. Andrea?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Brody?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That, excuse me, recommendation goes forward to the City Council for approval. Excuse me. We'll move on to item 4.2, which is a discussion and consideration of a request to amend Title 10 to permit flag lot development on a minimum of 2 acres on a minor collector. Michael again.
Okay, this is probably feeling like deja vu for our commissioners, because as you know, we worked last year on a series of amendments to our flag lot ordinance. This is a citizen-initiated text amendment. Palmer Helston who is here tonight to answer your questions, and will address you following my presentation. He also has prepared a few photographs that he would like to share with you as part of his presentation. The last time we did amendments or proposed amendments for the flag lot regulation, one of the issues we had talked about is the potential of allowing a flag lot on minor collectors. Right now, the ordinance says that a flag lot may not be front on or be accessible from a collector or arterial, but we do break those down into minor and major systems. So this would be the smallest of the collector types. This proposal is a little bit different than the last one that failed. This was an element that was removed in that amendment process. This one would allow a flag lot on a minor collector if it's part of a lot that is 2 acres or larger. So this is restricted to only larger lots within the city. We prepared a map just to show you what that might look like. And this is kind of like an initial review just based on acreage and looking at frontage. Some of these, for example, in this upper corner, apologize, the laser doesn't work on these monitors. Not all of these, I think, would be technically eligible because you do have to have at least 100-foot frontage plus another 25 feet for the private lane. So that larger lot in the upper right-hand corner you can see is already kind of looking like a flag lot pattern. It would not be eligible. But you can see just kind of looking at the number of lots that may be potentially, may use a flag lot. It's very few in the city. So if this were amended positively or recommended by the Planning Commission and approved by the City Council, it'd have a very minimal impact in the city. Another thing that we could consider is restricting this amendment to not only 2 acres or larger, but also within the A1 zone. So going back to that previous map, you can see the total of 2 acre or larger lots in the A1 zone are 9 lots. So that's the scale of the impact. In the staff report, I mentioned a few reasons why I think this is consistent with some of the larger policies and goals of the city. This type of development pattern will yield, in general, a lower density versus allowing a developer to come in and buy 2, 3, 4 parcels together, putting them together, assembling them, potentially scraping the property and doing a traditional subdivision. You would quite likely end up with more lots in the city. And I'm not suggesting that's a bad thing, but what I've been hearing continually is we're always looking for ways to minimize density in the city, at least especially in our agricultural zones. So that does seem to be consistent with that value. It does increase property value for the city and our revenues while really minimizing the overall impact because you're using all the existing public infrastructure. You're not increasing that. So we're not plowing additional roads. We're not, all of the city maintenance services primarily is the same. It's very negligible as far as the impact. And typically when you're seeing a flag lot development, what's happening is somebody has a desire to maintain an existing property. Rather than scraping it and redeveloping the site, what you're likely to see is that home to stay in place and perhaps be remodeled, have additional investment in, and that's a sustainable, right? Instead of having all of that go to the dump, get demolished and go to the dump, it actually is a sustainable effect from doing flag lot development. So, of course, the Planning Commission has the option, following the public hearing, of approving the request as proposed by the applicant. You may modify it, as we suggested in the staff report. You could, for example, modify it and restrict it to just the A1 zone. Or, any combination, 8.5, 8.25, whatever you'd like. You can continue it if you'd like to consider this further. You can also forward a recommendation to deny to the City Council. And as you know, any recommendation you make does go to the City Council for a final decision. Any questions for me before you hear from the applicant and the public on this item?
I just have one question. So the flag lots, because it's worded very much so, subdivision. So we're looking at flag lots that potentially could allow multiple homes, not just a single home behind it?
No, this is still one home for one flag lot.
That's the only thing I wanted clarity on.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
And that's already in the...
Yes, yeah, and that was another thing that we talked about is some of our other cities around us do allow one flag lot lane to service multiple homes. That was a decision the city said, no, we're going to just limit one flag lot per home. And this does not change that. This is still maintaining that same standard.
All this change is it allows for 2 acres.
On a minor collector.
On a minor collector.
On a minor
Right.
collector.
So the flag parameters and all of that, the staff and all that stuff.
Right.
All
Yeah,
stays
it's still
the same.
25
Stays the
feet
same.
wide, which we widened last time.
Yeah.
It also still has to meet all of the engineering requirements for offset, for driveway offset and spacing with intersections.
I still have a little bit of concern on how to protect the non-flagged lot, minimum sizing, and the flag, the actual portion of the flag lots, minimum sizing. But I think I'd like to hear the presentation before.
And again, if you're doing a 2 acre, if it's 2 acres minimum and you're ending up with 2 homes essentially, chances are you're going to be looking at 1 acre lots, right?
So you're saying
Yeah.
2 acres for both
You have to have, no,
combined?
2 acres to start with.
Okay.
And it's an A1 zone, potentially, if you want to limit to A1. So you're looking
So
at
the
both of
zoning
them
would
are
still-
going to
You
come
want to
in
make
with larger
a
lots, right?
Mike,
minimum for the
What I'm trying to
minimum
say
lot
is
size.
the one that isn't the flag.
Yeah.
We make sure that it doesn't become just a very small lot.
Right,
And I
right.
want to make sure that the flag doesn't become a really
That's right.
small lot. And
That would have to-
That's just something
Yep.
we don't have a current minimum
Like 20,
on the not
30%.
flag in here.
The underlying zone would maintain that.
That's right.
You'd
The
have to
zoning would
maintain the
maintain that.
underlying zone. Yep,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and we can hear from the applicant and then the public, and then we can have some more discussion here. So the applicant's here, please come forward and share your name and any. Sounds like you have additional presentation material, is that right, Michael? You
No,
mentioned,
I
or
don't
just-
know.
Okay.
My
Very good.
name's Palmer Helston,
Okay,
and I've been living here for 20 years, and I bought it because they said you could subdivide it anytime you want. I guess they changed the ordinance in 2017. There's about at least 7 prior to me coming up that road, flag lots, that aren't very good looking and very thin driveways. Mine is 25 feet. I've already got the survey done, and it doesn't just minimal. It's taken about probably an acre and just under a quarter for that flag. So there's plenty of room. I've made it room for everybody to turn around. And all I'm trying to do is sell it so I don't have so much stuff to take care of. I just can't be a farmer. I don't have the water for it.
very good.
And that's about all.
And the remaining lot size, you said 1 and.
Yeah, the remaining lot size,
would
when
be-
they do widen this road, is gonna shrink at 8 feet from what it originally was. And so my actual lot will be probably just over an acre and a
Okay, so
quarter
still
as
within
well.
the
Yeah, they're gonna both
parameters.
be essentially an acre and an eighth.
Perfect.
And then originally Salt Lake County zoned the whole thing for 1 acre lots. So I was told that originally it wouldn't be a problem, and then it was the minor collector. And you can see they dumped the whole subdivision on my minor collector.
Yeah.
But they're worried about me putting one house back there, you know?
Okay. All right.
Any
Well, very good.
questions?
Any questions?
No, that makes sense.
Hey, thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thank you, appreciate you being here. All right, so this is open for a public hearing, so let's go ahead and open up the public hearing for anybody that might have some comments on this at this time. Okay, nothing online either, Wendy? Or nothing that way? Very good. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing then at this time and open it up for discussion.
Can we go back to the map that showed?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Can we see
Yeah.
that map with the minor collectors?
That one?
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, this was just kind of a first blush. We're not saying that I can see right now, there's a couple on here that got highlighted by just the simple acreage and location, that there are some that would not be eligible.
Yeah.
But this was just, again, just study, just to kind of show you how relatively few lots in the city might be impacted by this change.
My only intention is to make sure that the 2 lots that become the lots, not the
Yes.
driveway, stay fairly large. And
Yeah.
I think maybe limiting it to not the 8.25 might do that.
So the 8.5 and the A1.
Because that would make sure that the front lot would at least be
A half acre.
a half acre. Because the current code makes sure that the back is a half acre. But I worry on the 0.25 if they chose to make a very small front
if you
lot
hold-
that's right off the road,
Yeah.
and then a huge lot in the back. It just needs to kind of feel the same. So if we're comfortable doing that, or limiting basically saying that both lots of the 2 have to at least have.
Be within 10% or whatever each other.
Yeah, half an acre or something, yes, tying it to the
overall size of the lot.
Yeah.
I think given our earlier conversation with the 8.25 and the potential for making further adjustments in the 8.25 zone, perhaps right now it may be appropriate to consider the 8.5 and the A1 as being eligible.
We could start
for-
there and then.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we could look at the
Look into
quarter acres
quarter acre.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because like, if you have an old home in the front and you get someone that just wants to do whatever they want in the back part of it, then they
Yeah.
isolate the home in the
So on
front.
this map, though, I mean, that cuts you down to 13 lots, which is not a whole bunch, so.
And how many of these lots actually are
Is that?
empty? They don't have a residence already on
A
them?
lot of these lots have a home on them,
Already.
right? They have at
Already.
least one, but,
Right.
yeah,
But they're not like, zero lot line up front
no.
where they're going to have a small front yard. They already
No.
have an established
Yeah.
building there. And so that's going to really limit, the really small lots that you'll have in the front.
Yeah,
that are
like,
there.
yeah, the underlying zone, again, will be maintained in that subdivision, so.
So that example that we just looked at, where is that on this map? Can you guide me
Well,
to
this
that?
is just
No,
a generic photo.
The one that the
gentleman.
applicant was talking about.
The
Where's that
applicant's
at?
property.
You want to bring up those other
That's
slides?
I bet you
There were a few different slides in this slide deck here. we
Yeah,
could
I
look
just
at.
wanted to.
Michael, I
kinda
think
get a
we're
vision.
asking, is that an 8.5 or 8.1?
Is it A1 or A5?
Yeah, I think that's what we want to know.
This one,
Or is it
zoning is it again?
8.25?
Is it?
Because if
I
we,
think it's, depends on what side of the
I'm not
road it's
sure.
on.
I'm not sure how far south on 7300.
Can you go
this
back
is.
to
I'm
the
just
other
saying-
map?
If we could figure that out. We just don't want to limit the applicant right now at this time. It sounds.
no, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just
Okay.
making sure the applicant understands what we're saying.
Yes,
No.
and I have met with Mr. Helston a number of times. He understands what all of the in fact, he reviewed all of the standards of the ordinance again this week with me, and he knows that what he's proposing will comply, assuming that this one change is made.
Okay.
But he wouldn't be impacted if we limited it to just the 0.5 or the 1.
His property's in the A1.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was
Yep,
saying.
sorry.
Cool.
Yeah,
Perfect. Perfect.
that's what we
Yeah,
wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think it makes sense to address it in the 8.25 at a later time. So I would like to strike it
I've got
from that zone.
one last question. So originally, we didn't do minor collectors for safety purposes. Is that the reason?
So we were
Remember why we
looking at ways to potentially broaden the flag lot ordinance. We knew that we had very few properties coming in under that request. That was one of the tools we thought we might adjust, is looking at it on a minor collector. And at the time, admittedly, I don't know why the council chose to remove that from the draft. But we did work with engineering to make sure that we were maintaining all of the engineering requirements for spacing. So we felt like we had addressed the safety concern. As I mentioned in the staff report, a good reason why cities typically don't want to encourage additional driveways from a collector, a minor collector, is a backing movement, right? But when you have a flag lot, not a driveway, a flag lot, you're always having a forward movement on when you enter the site and also when you exit the site. It's a forward movement, which is, as you know, is a much safer movement typically for traffic. So I think we've actually mitigated that. And then always, looking at this restriction, looking at density concerns, we're now making sure that we still maintain a very low density pattern under this tool. And we hadn't talked about this option with the city council last time. This is a new option that we had not reviewed.
And residences can front a minor collector, right?
Under very limited conditions,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, because most of,
Yeah.
right, the
Yeah.
initial lot or the initial property would be fronting the minor collector anyway.
Not in this one.
Not in the, no,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is the home that's already in place.
Right.
They're
It's
already
there,
fronting the
right,
minor
right.
collector already,
Yeah.
typically.
Well,
The flag
yeah.
light wouldn't be. but
They at least
yeah.
have one driveway already
Yeah,
going, right?
right, already.
What I could see, and part of my thought is, like with the cars coming out forward, it's easy for cars to pull in, turn around on when you've got enough space on a half-acre lot or 1-acre lot for cars to have the turnaround space. The quarter acres might be a little tighter, tougher to get that turnaround space.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
probably a good
And we
recommendation.
also
in that.
widened, we went from 20 feet to 25 feet on that last amendment as well, to also improve that movement and the clear view and, yeah.
My only issue is the 8.25, and I keep trying to figure out how to make it so you can get like a half, in the 8.25, if you have a 2-acre lot, you have to have a half acre in the front and
yeah.
half acre in the back.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you would do that in language, so I personally would rather move it forward and just pull out the 8.25 zone.
Okay.
Is that a,
I'm fine with that for
ready
right
for
now.
that motion
My thought.
or recommendation?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Adam. It's where they're zoned 8.25. It's kind of tricky to write language in there about having half acres on a zone that's
Yeah, we can-
0.25.
We can work that one.
And I kind of like that it might entice some people to stay in the A1 rather than rezone,
Yeah.
Sure.
so.
So you could potentially make a motion to approve the amendment limited to A1 and 8.5 zoning districts.
Correct.
So I'm ready to make a motion if everybody's good.
Yeah.
We're good.
I'd like to recommend approval of item 4.2 and limit it to A1 and A.5.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Adam and a second by Brody. We'll go ahead and call for a vote. Brody?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
And Andrea?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That moves forward to City Council with a positive recommendation. Thank you. All right, are there any comments from the commission members tonight on anything?
Well, the only thing that I wanted to bring up, because it was brought up in the joint meeting, is if there are, for no better word, certain initiatives in ordinances or changes in ordinances, it was expressed that the city council and the planning commission could bring that forward. And so I just wanted to reiterate that, because I think sometimes we feel like the council is the only one that can look into these and feel like when changes need to be made that they can only do it. And so I wanted to say that because that is something probably would be a good practice for us to look at and to start to evaluate some of the ordinances.
That is correct. Thank you.
No, that's a very good point. All right, so future meetings coming up, Wednesday, April 13th, City Council meeting. 2 weeks from tonight, April 21st is our next Planning Commission meeting. And then April 27th, Wednesday, is City Council meeting as well. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Brody because he was on the mic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here tonight, guys.
I wasn't sure how late we'd be here today.
All right.